It ain't when it is. You think it won't when it whiz? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking all fast lane, no coasting. And everything is gonna be all right. We talking about music and bad business. Are they wrong? Music and bad business. So tonight, y'all know it's Friday night. And on Friday nights, that's when we have all our fun. We talk about a music topic. And the music topic for tonight is music and bad business. So we're going to talk about artists that we know of that have gotten bad contracts over the years, gotten jerked, basically. You know what I mean? And whether the record companies are wrong for presenting them with the contracts, or are the artists wrong for not learning the business and for signing the contracts. I mean, when you really think about it, there has to be at least two wrongs here. I don't know if we can say we can equally share the blame, but I think that there has to be at least two wrongs in the place. So we're going to get into it. Get into it. Yeah. Let's do this thing. Yeah. I ain't going front. I wish somebody would offer me contact. Get it back now. Carry right. Christina. Marvina. Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily, the daily, it's the daily go get 'em is some show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, thinking all fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We are talking about music and bad business tonight. Music and bad business tonight. What you know about that? Is it wrong or right? Music and bad business tonight. Bad business tonight. Music and bad business tonight. Let's get it right. What I said, yeah, you know what? How we? What I said, hit the like button. We are daily go get 'em. Yo. Yeah. Give me that reggae feel. Where my yardies at? I said, whop 'em, baby. All right, we done. All right, so music and bad business. I need y'all to do me one little favor. Just hit the like button as y'all come in here, peep in, see what's going on, decide whether you want to be here or not. I just need you to do me that one little solid. Hit the like button and everything will be all right. As a matter of fact, more things will be all right than not. I just need y'all to hit the like button and everything be good. Manifest reality. What's good? Manifest reality. Manifest reality. What's good? Good to see you all the time. All the time. So we're talking about music and bad business. You know how y'all have known, or should I say, we've all known some celebrities over the years that we knew got some bad contracts. And I always had to ask myself, like, yeah, they got a bad contracts, but like, what does a good record deal look like? Because we don't really hear about that a whole lot. What does a good record deal look like? We hear all the time about a bad record deal. We hear all the time about predatory contracts, you know, signing a deal with the devil, all that kind of stuff. We talk about that all the time. We hear about it all the time. We knew about TLC. Some bad boy artists, even some artists of some other labels. There have been certain labels and music, record labels and music that have been known for giving out bad contracts, but also giving out the good product as far as the music is concerned. I guess you got to win some and you got to lose some, or you have to balance the scales out in some kind of way. But I really want to talk about whether it really is on the record company to give out a good deal, you know, or does other entities and, you know, managers, booking agents and all that, does everybody have to shoulder the blame a little bit? Is it all on the record companies? Or is it like, listen, man, business people gonna be business people. You ain't about your business? I don't know what to tell you. Well, we gonna get into it and get involved. These puzzle pieces right now, we gonna solve, y'all. So let's get it popping. Shall we? Yes, we shall. We shall. We shall. We about to shall. We're gonna shall our way through this show. Hit the like button, though. Hit the like button, share the show. 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 Yeah. I mean, if you really think, if you think about the record industry as like a regular job, and you think about the job that you work on, if you are employed by a company, you have to think like, you ever think about what your salary means to the rest of the company? Like, does it mean anything? You ever think about the money that you make versus the money that the company makes? You know, minus what they have to pay everybody out, like whatever the payroll is. And most companies really try to reduce their payroll because payroll is always the biggest expense in the company. You're like, if you didn't have to pay anybody, every company would pretty much be successful. If you ain't have to pay you don't have to pay no labor, but you're getting free labor. I mean, that is slavery. That's precisely what chattel slavery was predicated on. Free labor, nonstop, automatic, no matter when you wanted it. You didn't have to pay nobody. So you can get your paper straight real quick if you don't have to pay nobody. But think about your own job. You know, let's get off of the record companies for a minute. Think about your own job. Let's say you make $40,000 a year. You know what? You know what? Let's say you make $80,000 a year. Just a little under six figures, but definitely $80,000 is enough for a person to live on, as long as they don't try to live like a person that is a millionaire or that makes six figures. Okay. All right. So if your company can pay you $80,000, how much do you think that your position is worth to that company? If they can pay you $80,000, how much money are you making for that company? It's something that you should think about, for real, for real. It's something that you should think about, because you never know when you might be in a position to be the one that's signing checks or that's writing checks for somebody. And if you ever become the person in that position, you're gonna see how you're gonna try to get a person to work for you for as cheap as possible. See, when we're on the employee end, we're always thinking like, yo, you know what I mean? We always are trying to encourage companies to give out as much money as possible. But that's why companies don't listen to us. They already have this thing set up and budgeted the way they want it to go. But if you think about what your salary is versus how much you make for the company, then it starts to make sense. It starts to make sense. You start getting a certain kind of picture of what's going on in this business. And so when we flip it back over to the record company, the entertainment industry, you're never going to pay anybody more than what you're going to make. That don't make no sense. And that's not that we talking about bad business. That's terrible business. And that will put you bankrupt and out of business. Ali Hamza, what's good? Tupac or Notorious B.I.G.? Biggie all day. No Tupac for me. Sorry. No Pac for me. No. All right, so y'all get the gist of what we're talking about tonight. This is going to be a goodie. This is going to be a goodie because we're going to have to put on our business thinking caps tonight. We're going to have to put on our business thinking caps tonight and get this thing popping. So, music and bad business. Are these no good, lame, vile record companies? Hold on. Are these vile, lame record companies responsible? Or are they wrong for doing business the way that they do business? Are they wrong? What's going on, my? Good to see me, some you. Good to see me, some you. Always a good thing to see you. Always a good thing to see you. So yeah, I mean, are record companies really wrong? I mean, to us as just the people who are buying the records, listening to the records, of course, we want our favorite artists to do well. You know what I mean? For some reason, we have a vested interest in making sure that the artist that we like makes good money, and that's kind of like validating our tastes in music, our choices. You know what I mean? Like many people support their favorite artists financially. They may buy their merchandise. You know, nowadays you can actually access your artist by Cash App. You know what I mean? It lets you Cash App them. That was unheard of back in the day. That was unheard of back in the day. But now, in this digital age, in this cyber age or whatever, you know, you can get close to a lot of artists if you really want to or try to. And also artists are making themselves way more accessible than they would have ever done years and years ago. Shoot, remember fan mail? You know, cats used to actually put letters in the mail, you know, to their favorite artists. And he or she would get the mail like, yo, I'm your number one fan. I go to all your shows. I buy all your records. I wear all your clothes. I even got my kids loving you and my granny. My granny love you, Mr. MC Hammer. Because we pray. We pray. We got to pray just to make it today. All right. So thanks for coming through, y'all. And let y'all know that right now. TK Wright says, a good record deal has a sign-on bonus, a decent percentage of record sales, and a majority percentage of performance revenue. Oh, you're defining what a good record contract is. Is that a good record company? I mean, good record contract, or is that a good record deal, or is that a nice record deal, or is it a acceptable record deal? You know, I mean, most record deals come with some kind of sign-on bonus, but the thing is, all sign-on bonuses ain't nowhere the same, and whatever is given to you has to be recuperated. So the truth of the matter is, they can give you everything. They can give you all kinds of shit and a high budget to record your album. You gonna pay all that shit back in record sales. Still gonna pay it all back. Pay it all back. You're gonna pay it all back. They invest in record companies used to invest in artists. So they would help them, you know, help promote their projects as much as possible to get maximum record sales and notoriety, or should I say publicity and stuff like that, keep their artists hot. And there used to be a such thing as artist development. So, you know, they had a whole team within the record company that would help an artist to make the right decisions, put them in the right places, set them up at the right public speaking engagements. That's not the word I'm looking for. They would set them up at the right public events or whatever, you know, publicity events. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. CK Wright says, owning your masters is for real G's. Yeah. And it's hard to come into the industry asking to own your masters. Especially back in the day. They wasn't letting nobody have their own, own their masters. Like, who told you to ask about that? What are you, crazy? Own my masters? Own your masters? What do you think we are? A distribution company? We a record company. In a minute, we about to cut you and tell you to go down the street. Go to ABC Records. Because Columbia Records over here ain't trying to hear that shit. We are in control. We make or break you. You ain't nobody. Talent notwithstanding. Manifest Reality says, hire someone and also learn. Can't trust record companies and must be able to go over what your attorney keeps eyes open from what has happened to so many. Yeah, you would wonder, like, why would anybody sign a bad deal these days? Like, how would you find yourself faced with a bad record deal these days? But it happens. It absolutely happens. It absolutely happens. Absolutely. All right. Yo, my cousin, my brother, my brother, my cousin, my cousin, my brother, my.
You have a call from
Troy.
Whom? Whom? Is that Troy?
Yes, this is the one them called. The one them called.
The one them called try. The one them called try.
Right here, this is them don't worry me. The one them called. Girls, girls, girls. Shout it right. One them called.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm glad you feeling good, energetic, and hyped up a little bit. You know what I mean? That's a good look.
Number one, it's the end of the week for my brother. You know, everybody that made it through. Everybody's blessed by the best with no stress, no mess. Hopefully, you know, we all here. We get ready to enjoy the night, enjoy the next day. You know, son always looking fresh to death on the TV.
That's what's up. Appreciate
fresh
that.
Fresh to fucking death. He ain't just a polo man. He the polo teddy bear at times.
Look, I was told that I was shit colored today. I had on a poop colored ensemble today.
Damn, they can't say that you got on a khaki color. They gotta say poop color.
They said I'm the color of Dookie. I say Dookie. Well, at least you said Dookie.
You should say, well, you look like a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well,
we always dress. You know how 55-year-olds from the 70s, we always dress fresh to death. Don't do that.
Hey, listen. If I pulled it out and I ironed it and I wore it, evidently I feel some kind of way. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm here. What up, Propucio? What's good? And Yellow.
Good morning, Marvina. Good morning, Yellow. Happy Sober Saturday. I'm trying to get drunk. Sober Saturday. Yeah, I was trying to get drunk Friday, but I said, got to get on the damn live stream. You know.
I hear that.
My sister from another mister, my sister from another mother, T. Carey Wright. In the words of son, good to have you morning, noon, and night in my sight.
That's what's up.
T. Carey.
Yeah.
It's right if you're nasty. What was going on, good brother?
Man, I'm feeling like a real man should. We are talking about record companies tonight. Music and bad business. Music and bad business. So we basically talking about the music, the business side of music, the music industry. You know, we talking about that side of the of music that we don't always like to talk about. That some people know a little something about, others know a lot about it, and we can all learn more about it. Like, yeah, you know, like basically what we're asking tonight is, you know, as far as these record contracts are concerned, these record deals are concerned, are the companies wrong for being predatory? Because I mean, or are the artists just irresponsible and lackadaisical when it comes to their business, when it comes to their money? I mean, ain't nobody really gonna watch your money for you. You know what I mean? You should have handlers that will watch your money for you, like managers. But we all know about stories where managers have stolen all kinds of money. You know what I mean? They were supposed to be getting 10%. They leaving the artist with 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you really have to be careful about who you trust with your finances.
You know, it takes me out because some artists jump in and take their contract because they want to get in the business so much that they'll lowball themselves to get their name out there.
Trying to
realize when they're selling that, getting that contract, and if you don't read the fine print good, you're gonna be screwed.
It may not even be the fine print. They just didn't read none of it.
Mm-hmm.
They just signed the bitch because they wanted to be on. It used to be a big deal to get a record deal. You know what I mean? Even if the deal wasn't a deal at all. It's more like a record steal. You signed up to get robbed, song by song. All your tracks should be like track number 1, theft. Track number 2, larceny. Track number 3, robbery. Track number 4, breaking and entering. Track number 5, stealing. You know what I'm saying? Like your whole album is one big joke. But the thing is, what are the record companies stealing from the artists? They printed out the contract. Everything was in black and white. You don't have to sign that shit. Mm-hmm. Now we know that there's an emotional element to, you know, signing a contract and getting a record deal and, you know, basically signing to a company where you think that things are going to go well and you're going to put your music out and people are going to buy it and you're going to get money and points and off of your royalties, off of your record sales, and you're going to go on tour. You're going to perform every night and make a ton of cash, come back home, you know, go uptown, come back home, fool me, myself, and my microphone. All my rhymes are shared delight. So here's another one for y'all to bite. When I rhyme, I never quit. And when I got a new rhyme, I just say it because it takes anyway. So
bars like a motherfucker right there.
You know what I mean? That run used to be kicking it. Oh, actually, that was DMC. What up, Bones? Bones 2110. So yeah. You know, like, at what point do we say, well, the artist shouldn't have signed that fucking contract?
I'll say that in the beginning.
Yeah.
You can't. It's almost sometimes it goes. It's always every time I think of contract, you know where it takes me to. Take me back to T.O.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You know, you get a contract. You think that if you outplayed your contract and you want to renew your contract, and you just got the contract, and when people tell you not to sign, from you got the damn union tell you not to sign it, you got your damn fucking agent telling you not to sign it, but you signed it anyway. Then when you're under contract, you can't get upset because you outplayed your contract. You got to get upset at yourself for signing the contract.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? When you go in there and you ain't looking for major points, or you just and you go in there and you ain't looking to get your publishing or anything, then you're fucking yourself. Mm-hmm. You're fucking yourself. That's why so many people these days are going independent, because they don't trust these record companies. The record contract these days is very much obsolete because they streaming is more important than anything these days. You can make more money off of streaming than anything.
Well, the internet killed a lot of record companies.
Yes, they did.
You know what I mean? But the beauty of record companies used to be the fact that they would invest in artists and they would promote you. You know, it's very expensive and actually quite hard to promote yourself. You know, to be able to get your shit out of it, you know, around the world, to have DJs play your shit, push your shit. You know what I'm saying? Get your shit, get your image and albums and promotional tools. You know, like raps on buses.
That payola is still out there. You know
payola is definitely still in effect. And the thing is, now record companies can't just freely play records on the radio the way they used to. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. It's almost to the point where radio stations have to actually pay to play the records. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because shit has changed. When record companies started dissipating because they couldn't really sell records anymore in this digital age. Now record companies, what little record companies there are, they are signing most of their artists to these 360 deals. And a 360 deal means that not only does the record company get your record sales money or a percentage of it, a high percentage of it, but they also get a percentage of when you do shows or when you sell your paraphernalia, and they get everything. They get a piece of everything. And some artists will go ahead and take that 360 deal because they figure like, at least I don't have to do all of the work. And now it may sound like they're lazy for not wanting to do all of the work, but they may not know what they're doing. And they're entrusting the record company to know what they're doing. They figure, well, man, maybe I'll sell so many records and have so many shows that it won't even matter the percentage that I have to give to the record company. Maybe it might balance itself out. Maybe it'll just straight up be worth it. Mm-hmm. So they might take the shot. Go ahead and take the shot. So there's so much to this whole record industry thing, and when we start pointing the fingers and talking about who's being predatory, who is irresponsible, or who is reckless, or who is targeting somebody or whatever, everything is contractual. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you have the choice about whether to sign that contract or not. Now, you might be young and impressionable, and so you might figure that signing the contract might be the thing to do. Because, you know, first of all, I want to be on. I just wanted to get on. And maybe your first time around, yeah. Well, you got on. There was a time in hip hop and R&B where, and I always thought this was foolish, but it was what it was. People wanted to be signed to a certain label. That was clout. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, it kind of like working at IBM back in the day, Xerox, you know, tech companies and shit like that. You know, working at a place that sounds good to be working there, but you ain't making no fucking money. So yeah, you got the clout of being able to say, yeah, I work at a place that's respected, but you ain't getting no money. So that's what it's like saying, well, yeah, I want to be signed to Def Jam. I want to be signed to Bad Boy. I want to be signed to No Limit Records or whatever. None of that shit really matter if you're not getting paid. You just getting clout, and you can't go to the store and spend clout. You can't write out a clout check for your rent or your mortgage. A private school you want to send your kids to, they don't take clout checks. Like, yeah, it's nice that it's nice that, you know, your dad is famous and all of that, but
we need that money.
That's right.
Get money, get naked.
You know what I'm saying? Or you won't be on the roll in this class no more. Be escorted off the premises. little Tyreek does not go here. He is not on the attendance sheet. All right. So I figured, Troy, what we should do is we should talk a little bit about artists that we know that have either been rumored or have, you know, admitted that they got a bad record deal or whatever. And maybe we should analyze it a little bit and see if the contracts were indeed bad or the deal was bad. Now, we ain't got to get all technical about it. You ain't going to have to Google nothing, whatever. Most artists nowadays, which is a big difference from, you know, artists back in the day. Back in the day, you didn't know what an artist was making or whether they got a good deal or not because they was never talking about that. But with hip hop and R&B, them all and social media, you know if somebody is doing good business, good reputable business, or if their reputation is more on the cusp of evil. Predatory. You can't say it's predatory lending, but I guess it's predatory signing. I don't know. All right. So I'm gonna go first. And the artist that I'm gonna reference as having a bad contract, New Edition.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Ding 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 ding.
Mm-hmm. Notorious for going from the initial bad contract or bad record deal to another bad deal with a bigger company, MCA, to Bad Boy, another bad contract. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what label they're on now. But yeah, they couldn't catch a break. Now you
know the fucked up thing about New Edition? Nobody never trademarked the name New Edition. You know who trademarked the name New Edition? Johnny Gill.
The one that ain't even really a member.
The original one. Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. You would have thought that Michael Bivins would have did it.
Yeah, nobody trademarked it. But I'm shocked. When I seen that shit, I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
They let that happen?
Yeah. So yeah. Now these young boys grew up in the industry, literally. From the time they was like, what, 13, 14 years old or whatever. Yeah. And, they grew up in the industry, with no proper guidance, no proper leadership, no proper tutelage or mentorship or whatever. Nobody in business, nobody with any business savvy ever came to save New Edition. Like, yo, man, fuck that shit. Them contracts ain't right. Y'all sold enough records to be.
Star should have been shot.
No. Sylvia Rhone should have been shot harder.
Mm-hmm.
Because Maurice Starr jerked them when they wasn't nobody yet. MCA jerked them when they was somebodies.
Whoa. So you mean to say when Candy Girl and all that stuff come out, they didn't lose millions of dollars on that?
What I'm saying is, he had already given them the bad contract before they sold records. They was already established on Streetwise by the time they went to MCA.
I get what you're saying.
So there's no reason that they should have had a bad contract with MCA after they had sold and proven themselves on Streetwise. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So not only did they get a bad contract from MCA as New Edition, they got a bad contract as Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill, and BBD. After these motherfuckers were old enough, experienced enough to know, like, yo, no, we ain't working for that. Michael Bivins out here signing other groups. He know the business, but his own business.
He started doing it to them.
He was only managing them. It ain't like he had no record company to sign him to. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he ain't really jerk them. You know what I mean? He presented them in a light where they could get a good contract. Shit, Boys II Men ought to be thanking him. They came to him. He ain't go to them. All right, you want to be on? All right, I got you. Come on over here. I mean, shit, y'all got some good shit going on. I got you. He groomed them. You know, but he definitely took on the characteristics of the bad record company people, but at the same time, he was getting shitted on himself. You still in a fucked up contract with the same label that jerked you from the first album you put on there, the Any Heartbreak joint.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. What label was they on with Candy Girl and all of that? Was they on MCA then? I don't know if they was on Streetwise then. Chill.
Who do you love?
I'm not. Do not play that shit. What record label was New Edition's second album on? MCA. So
no. Candy Girl was
that was Streetwise.
The second album was the one that had Count Me Out and everything on it.
No, that was.
Yes. The second album was the blue album cover with them on the front of the cover.
It says New Edition's second album, the self-titled New Edition, was released on record label MCA.
Right, but their first one was released to Streetwise.
Right. I'm not talking about they first one.
Okay, you talking about the second one?
Yeah. I was trying to calculate how long Streetwise had been had been tossing their salad. Or sodomizing them. Let me put it that way.
Ooh.
So yeah.
No sodomize.
Mm-hmm. So when they was singing Cool It Now and all of that in '84, they was on MCA.
Mm-hmm.
And Any Heartbreak and all of that. Now they sold millions of records.
Yeah.
They wasn't no corny group. They wasn't no just gold selling. They went platinum.
Yes, you
did. You would think that somebody would say, all right, let's throw them a bone. But why would they do that? If you got a goose that will lay you a golden egg for free, are you gonna pay the goose more? You might treat the goose better, but you might not pay him nothing. Shit, I ain't pay you when you laid all them other eggs. You giving out echoes, Troy.
No, my fault.
What up, Mia? What up, Jason Sloan? What up, y'all? Bones. What up, Bones? What's good? But yeah, so that's my first group. We can hold MCA Records responsible for shitting on New Edition, but New Edition got fumbled by everybody. Nobody looked out for New Edition. Ever. But it don't look to me like they knew how to look out for themselves. Who takes responsibility for that? All right, so what artists you got?
I got Biggie. I got Biggie.
Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, it was the Puff Daddy. Woo!
Woo, Biggie, the notorious B.I.G. Well, what do you know about his contract?
Well, his contract, from what I've heard about his contract, it was bullshit. You know what I mean? It was bullshit to the point where that was one of the main reasons why he wanted to leave Bad Boy. You know, because of how bad the contract was. It got to the point where it was so bad that he needed money so bad that he sold his publishing for cheap to Puffy. He sold his publishing to Puffy for cheap. You know, that's why it fucks me up when you hear Puffy say how they were like brothers and this, that, and the other. You don't do that to your brother. You know what I mean? So I mean, his contract was not lucrative. I think he made more money off of touring than he did through his record deal. You know? And
Now,
Puffy would seem like he's the type of guy that charge you for them clothes and shit. And the jewelry and all that shit.
he invested a lot of money in Biggie. He invested a lot of money in Biggie.
Yeah, I believe he invested, but I think on the back end, he made more than he invested.
Well, every company is going to make more. But let me ask you this. Because I think the timeline of Biggie's contract is the thing that we probably need to take a look at. When did Biggie, Christopher Wallace, when did he sell Puffy his publishing, and why?
You just Googled that?
No. I'm asking you. Do you know?
No, hold on. Let me get my computer out.
Okay.
Let me Google that.
Okay. Well, I can tell you why. Off the head. Biggie was still in the streets.
Right.
And so he was doing his thing in the streets. He was going out of town. You know what I mean? He was still selling his drugs or whatever. And that's how he was choosing to make his real money. So until the record companies, until the records and shit started popping, he wanted he wanted to hit the streets. So there was a time when Biggie had went down to Virginia. He went down to Virginia, whatever. And Puffy had called him like, "Yo, we got these shows that we supposed to do, whatever." And Biggie was down in Virginia, like, "Yo, I had to come down here to take care of something, whatever. I ain't gonna be there." And Puffy was like, "No, I need you to come back up here. You know what I mean? We gonna get this money." So Puffy was trying to give him something to keep him from getting in the streets, because he knew that that Biggie had already been locked up before, and that he was still messing around with the streets. So well, Biggie basically was down to sell him the publishing, because he thought he could take the money and flip it. Like, he really just wanted to sell drugs. Rap second, sell drugs first. So Puffy gave him $250,000 for it. He said, "All right, tell you what, I need you to get serious about this industry. I'll give you $250,000, but I need your publishing. You don't worry about it, because you're gonna sell so many records. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna blow you up so big, you ain't gonna miss it." And that's actually what he did. So, Biggie took the $250,000. He didn't know that he was going to sell 2 million records. He didn't know. But he did. So, who was really wrong? Was Puffy really wrong for what he did? Because if I was giving somebody $250,000 and it wasn't a signing bonus, but I'm giving you this money but to keep you from fucking up this opportunity, because I'm starting this label and you are a major part of it. I'm like, okay, I got 250 grand. I'm not just gonna give you 250 grand because what you doing, you'll take my money, flip it, and I never see my money again. You don't give a fuck. So all right. You know what I mean? You agreed to get serious if I give you this money. Because 250 grand, that's way more than you was handling, selling drugs and shit. And so now you got enough money to feed your daughter. Because he was just trying to, the D's was always, the D's knew he was just trying to, make some money to feed his daughter. Now you got enough money to feed your daughter. So I can't really say that Puffy was wrong because he did take care of him otherwise. He promoted him. It was almost like he was managing him. All up in the videos, whatever. But he did make sure that he promoted him to the fullest. And he put him on other records and all. Now, I don't know if the publishing that he sold Puffy, I don't know if that covered his cameos on, on 112 or Total or whatever, and whatever he did.
Sold his publishing to Diddy. He didn't say it doesn't say what year, but he sold it for $200K early in his career.
Okay, I thought it was 250.
$200K.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, but the fact, I mean, if you don't know, if it's like this, if Son is my brother, if Son is managing me, or Son got the record company, and we tight like that, and you calling yourself my brother, then you will break it down to me like, look, I'll give you this 200 for your publishing, and then when you get to the point of where you can pay me back, I'll give you your publishing back. You know what I mean? Because you're my brother, and I respect that. I respect the fact that after Craig Mack, you are my lead artist, and you did a lot for my company as being a lead artist. Don't sit back and call yourself my brother while you biting my back out and sitting up here taking all my coins.
Do we know
that publishing? The most important thing about publishing, even when Biggie left, that goes to his children, his mom and his children, and then when his mom passed away, that went to his children. Mm. So at the end of the day, everything that Diddy, like I said, I'm suspect about a lot of things Diddy did towards Biggie. I understand. Me and you had talked about it before about me saying I think Diddy had something to do with on Biggie's death. And you was like, well, why would he mess up his cash cow? And I feel like the same thing I always said about Suge not wanting Pac to be around was because these cash cows was ready to go out on their own and make money on their own and leave that company. You know what I'm saying? Even though, let's hypothetically say Biggie leaves Bad Boy and Diddy got his publishing, if he go out on his own, he can make just as much money. Because if you got Biggie, Biggie taking Little Kim and Biggie taking Junior Mafia, you understand what I'm saying? And no. Biggie gonna have other people coming to sign with him, then Biggie is on a whole different plateau, whereas though Bad Boy falls down.
That doesn't make that. See. Here's the thing. That theory never made it. From a logical standpoint, it didn't make any sense. And the reason I say that is because Little C's is not a rapper. Biggie had to write all his rhymes. He wrote all that right. He wrote all Little Kim rhymes. So
he wrote all his rhymes. The only rhyme he didn't write was "Crush on You."
Yeah, he wrote that.
No, he didn't.
Oh no, Cameron wrote it. Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, so you know what I mean.
We both did it at the same time.
The bottom line is they didn't write their own shit. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't signed to Bad Boy. So it wasn't like it wasn't like Puffy was making any money off of Lil' Kim and C's or Junior Mafia, and he wasn't going to lose no money on them. And even if Biggie left Bad Boy, he still made you so much. You like a gold album can carry a record company easily. A platinum selling album will blow a record company up. Multi-platinum album. There's almost nothing a record company can't do.
Well, you just sat up here and said, what you just said up here and said about a gold album can blow a company up. Mm-hmm. I believe that because, when, not to get off subject, because when Jay-Z, when Bean Siegel was coming at Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z said, I don't understand why Beans is saying what he's saying. He's the only person that I know that never went platinum but had gold records. He said he had millions of dollars, but yet his mom was still living in sticks.
I don't think Beans ever went gold.
Yes, he did.
What album?
He did. The first one. I think he went gold with the first one. Let me check it.
Cam said the first. Cam said that Dipset was the first to go gold and platinum on the label, and that sounded right to me. Besides Jay,
because he was like, he went gold. Platinum. He went gold. He had 2 Rolls Royces. He had millions of dollars. His mom still lived in the sticks. He said he had his own clothing line, his own sneaker line, but never went platinum.
Well, he had a lot of residuals, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Getting back to Biggie. Mm-hmm. Just if I'm thinking about it from a logical standpoint, it didn't make any sense for Puffy to kill Biggie because you're still getting all of that residual income. Like, even if he leaves your label, he made so much money for you while he was there, and those records are going to keep selling at 100% because you got 100% of his publishing. And the other thing about it is, if you don't understand how much a label will make off a platinum album, if think about if you was selling records out of your trunk at $5 a CD, $5. Now you sell 50,000 CDs at $5. You know how much money you just made?
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you got $250,000 and you only sold 50,000 copies. Now, God forbid you should sell them at 10. Because now you got $500,000, right? All right.
Right.
So that's only 50,000.
He did go gold in 2000.
Okay. He went gold in 2000. I know he didn't have no bunch of. I know he ain't had no bunch of high selling records. Beans was extremely popular, but he didn't sell a lot. You know what I mean? I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
We thought he did, but he just didn't. Freeway, none of them did. But anyway, so you could do that independently. So that's why independent platinum is different from being on a label and going platinum, because you go gold on a label, you ain't getting no $250,000. Not gonna happen. You sold 500,000 records. How much money was you getting? Was you even getting $1 off of each CD or each record tape? No. And that's why cats was doing other things like ringtones and other things where they can make a little bit of money. So if he had, I'm saying all of this to say that if he owned 100% of Biggie's publishing, then he didn't have to do a whole lot at double platinum, which is what Life After Death, Ready to Die sold. He put Bad Boy on the map. They was good. So, other artists like Faith Evans and whoever else he signed. That's why Puffy would sign motherfuckers, wouldn't even put them out. Like, you can't go nowhere else though. I signed you. Give you a chain and give you a little, put a little money in your pocket. Here, take this little $50,000. You know what I mean? Go shopping. You know what I mean? Your album ain't never coming out, but I'm gonna give you a bunch of cameos on Biggie shit. You know what I'm saying? Shelved a lot of people, but in relation, I understand what you're saying from the standpoint of, if you my brother, you should do right by me, but that's not the record. That's not the record industry. Ain't no brothers. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not so much as, it's like this. I agree to what you're saying. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about what that nigga said. I mean, don't call me your brother and just use the term of me being your artist. Don't sit up here and brag about how close we was at my timely demise and brag about that. And you can brag about that when I was living, when you doing me dirty financially. I agree to what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's just like when I first met you, I was shaking your hand, then all of a sudden I want to give you dap. And then you're gonna say, well, yo, why are you giving me dap? Well, I was drunk when I was shaking your hand. Well, motherfucker, don't give me no dap. Don't send me no handshake. Don't do shit. Because when I was shaking your hand, out of respect. I don't do daps. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna say, if I call you my brother, that means that I'm your brother. And that's what Diddy did. That's his terminology. So you what you did was you called him your brother, and you did dirty business towards him because he needed them funds. And that's the only thing I'm saying. I agree. He is not his job to pacify Biggie. But when you sit back, it's like I'm sitting up here calling you my brother, and then I screw your girl.
I mean, but it's not like he didn't pay him. He paid him.
I'm not saying that he didn't pay him, but he could have made it where he got his publishing back instead of keeping his publishing, because that's his brother. His terms of him being my brother. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like this. If I'm on tour, if I'm doing comedy, and Son is my manager, right? Even though I'm paying you, yes, I'm paying you to be my manager. But if at some point in time, if I blow up more, I'm going to give you more money because you're my brother. I called you my brother. I respect you as my brother. So business is business, but the relationship and the loyalty we have towards one another is different. It changes your business terminology.
See,
that's what Diddy did.
See, I don't know about that, because they didn't grow up together. They don't know. They didn't know each other. They didn't, I understand what you're saying from an emotional standpoint, but it's the record industry. It's the entertainment industry. And the only friends that are made in the entertainment industry are financial friendships, and they're based on those. They're based on those finances. When it ain't money, we go back to not knowing each other. We ain't homeboys. We ain't from around the way. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. You know what I mean? We didn't grow up together. I'm not from around your way. You're not from around our way, but we developed a bond where as though we so tight that, we brothers.
Me and you are not signed to each other.
But what I'm saying to you, son, is that I can understand that. But when you develop a friendship before he even signed with this man, they already developed a friendship.
Where you get that from?
The reason why Biggie came back from down south was because pretty much Diddy made it weird as though he cared about the ball. Look, that fast money that fast money is gonna get you in trouble. You need to come back up here and get this money right here that we got, because that way you're gonna still be out here living, or you're gonna be on these, you won't be on these streets. That's what took him out the drug game.
But he was a grown man. Like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sticky because
it is sticky. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Listen,
it's just that
Biggie. Hold on.
Like I said.
All right.
What'd you say?
No, I was getting ready to say that Biggie was getting money on the streets. You know what I mean? And drug dealing is, even though you're not dealing with contracts, you're dealing with contractual obligations, whether you're dealing with actual written contracts or not. You know, you can't just be buying from one connect and think you're gonna stop buying from them and going to another one without there being repercussions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, most definitely. We know the streets, yeah.
Okay, so knowing that, why would he think that the entertainment industry was sweet like that? I mean, this man gave you $200,000. I mean, you wasn't getting that, because if you was getting anywhere near that,
let's look at it on both sides. Then let's look at it on both sides. Why would Beans and all the state property thought it was sweet like that too with Jigga?
Listen,
when they all
wait. Let's stay on because we might have to talk about, you know, state property.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Let's stay here.
If I agree with what you're saying, business is never personal. This is a business thing. This is a record company thing. This, that, and other. But I'm going by Diddy's terminology in a relationship that they had. And if you want to sit up here and buy his publishing, make it weird as though he can buy his publishing back from you, so it can be his legacy, since y'all that tight. I agree with what you're saying, but don't say this. Don't call me your brother. Just consider me a client of your company.
I just don't know if they was that tight. I don't really think they.
I'm going by what Diddy said.
Diddy also said that he was the greatest rapper who ever lived, but he only said that after he died. So yeah, he said a lot of things. That don't mean he meant all that shit. It's show business. It's a show. It's a show.
He said that while he was living.
No, he didn't. No, the fuck he didn't. And he wouldn't have been able to get away with it when he was living, because there's no way he would have. No, he didn't. He said that shit when he died, because if he would have tried to say that shit while he was alive, everybody would have been coming at Biggie, because he was nowhere near the greatest. Anyway, so yeah, he said that shit when he was dead, and people gravitated towards it because, you know, they was paying homage. I get it, but that's all part of the show. The word business is longer than the word show. So he didn't sign Biggie because he liked him. He signed Biggie because he knew he was going to make him a bunch of money. So, you know how they say you got to spend money to make money? Well, he spent $200,000 on him so he could make $200 million. And it worked. Now, Biggie could have took his $200,000 and started and got with Un, and you know he had enough money to start his company, but evidently Biggie wasn't good with money. Whether he was
before he got murdered, he already had everything in line to start his own thing with Un.
Yeah, but Un had the money. Biggie didn't have the money. Un had the money. He shouldn't have needed Un. He really shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? I know one thing. If I get into something, my money gonna be straight. You know what I'm saying? My money, I'm not going to spend all my money. I'm banking mine because I don't know how long this shit is gonna last. When Biggie came into the game, it wasn't like we were sure that hip hop was going to be here forever. We had just got it right. You know what I mean? 5 years before 94 was 89. Hip hop could have died at any moment. We would still get played late at night, shit like that. But anyway, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Puffy was 100% wrong with that, because at some point, if my conversation would be different if Biggie was a teenager, but he was in his 20s. He'd been to jail before. He had kids. You're on the streets or whatever. He was making decisions on his own.
Yeah, but he was making decisions on his own, and when he was never in the record industry. And the fact that a person that was already in the record industry wasn't so much schooling him, he was basically schooling him to the point where he can take things from him, no matter how much money you spun on him, the fact that you charged him $200,000 for his publishing and didn't give him an avenue, a way of getting it back from you, that's a problem. To me, that's just how I feel.
Well, okay, if you were a record company owner, I'm sure you would feel different.
But he gave it back. He gave him, he gave Faith, and he gave Mace their publishing. I think it might have been 2 years ago he gave them back their publishing.
Yeah, because it don't matter now. It don't.
So.
You know what I mean? He had a leap of faith. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter now. I bet you when they was hot, he wasn't doing that shit. And he ain't have to. But the same way he didn't have to give them back their publishing, they didn't have to sign them contracts.
But that's the same thing with New Edition, then.
It is.
It's the same thing with New Edition. They didn't have to. But
the difference. No. You not their parents, because parents don't know shit about no goddamn show business. What should have happened?
But when we tell you what parents do know, they know about lawyers.
No, some parents do and some parents don't. Evidently, theirs didn't, because according to the movie, they never got no lawyers. That's what they didn't do. They got uncles. They got random motherfuckers. They got people dance instructors and all. They ain't get no. What they didn't do is get no lawyers. But everybody should. That's what everybody should get. You can't expect motherfuckers that's getting millions and millions of dollars to cut their millions off for you, because all of this shit can be done. It could be over in a flash. So everybody is stacking. So you look at everybody. Okay, all right. I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. For the note, for the Biggie and Puffy, because we got more to talk about. Let's talk about let me read some of the comments. Let's see. Papucio was saying one of the most talked about when we were younger was TLC and Pebbles contract. Oh yeah. Pebbles. God damn. Man. Pebbles business was almost the equivalent of sneaking up behind you and pulling your pants down, and you know what I mean, knocking you over the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. But at what point, just like with the whole Biggie thing, if Biggie was a teenager, my conversation would be different. That's why my conversation is different for New Edition, because they couldn't be expected to know better. They got thrown to the wolves. Now with TLC, they was in their 20s. So I'm like, they were in their young 20s or whatever. And from an outsider's perspective, you would think after their first album did so well, just like you were saying with Puffy, somebody should have put them on. Or I'm thinking, like, at the very least, if your first album does well, you should have more creative control and financial control over your second project. That's what I'm thinking, right?
Right.
But the reason I'm thinking that way It's because I'm not in that industry. It's because I've never signed a record contract or built a record company to have contracts signed. So of course I'm thinking like a civilian. I'm thinking like a worker. I'm thinking like an employee. Well, record company execs don't think like employees. They think like bosses. And bosses don't think like people who take losses. Bosses don't like to take losses. Employees embrace losses, blow off losses. That's not what bosses do. Bosses fire people who allow losses to happen. Like, you gotta go. You fucking up this money. Now, and it's getting to the point where I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or by mistake. But you look at Pebbles, her business was straight as fuck. And you look at a Bad Boy Records and you look at a LaFace Records, and they had that clout chasing thing in common. It was in vogue to be on that label. People wanted to be on that LaFace label.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't wait to get that. They couldn't wait for that sodomization. They couldn't wait. Oh yeah, I'm on LaFace. Yeah. Straight getting hit from the back. I'm not sure which hole. Depends on the gender. But yeah, with TLC and Tony Braxton. Hold on. With Tony Braxton, there's no excuse for this hoe. Tony gotta take some responsibility with this LaFace Records thing. You know, because Tony wanted all of her money up front. She wanted her signing bonus and all. She wanted all of her points and all of that shit up front. And then when her record sold and she ain't getting no money and she spent all of the money that she got up front, now she like, y'all ain't treating me right. Nah, bitch, you wanted your money up front. We gave it to you. We gave it to you.
Just be a man about it.
I was gonna say the cash should have brought your ass back home last night. You know what I mean? So yeah, Tony bankrupt herself twice. Twice though? Mm-hmm. On the same label? So you sued your label, won, and then had to do it again? Come on, Tone. Come on, Tone. You know what I'm saying? She was living high off the hog. But yeah, Pebbles just like, shit. Y'all saw the contract? Don't act like we ain't do nothing for you. We blew TLC and who was promoted harder than TLC and Tony Braxton?
Not no fucking body.
Exactly. Got y'all songs all up in the soundtracks and all of that shit.
Even John B.
Mm-hmm.
John B was promoted real good.
You know who they didn't?
Babyface on his first hit.
The group that they didn't push and didn't seem to believe in that much, that made them a ton of money, was Outkast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny because you don't hear Outkast bitching about getting jerked, and they had to have gotten it, but they must have made something out of it. You know what I mean?
But they must because they might have been killing them on tour.
Well,
killing them.
Even if you getting your tour money, you know, for the amount of records that they were selling, they should have been getting good points on their on their record sales.
And there might be something that they did. They might have renegotiated with them and gave them more points once they realized how profitable they was. They might have renegotiated with them.
Yeah,
There's between TLC and Outkast. We don't know about Andre 3000, but we know Big Boy got a little street in him. You know what I mean?
Well, evidently neither one of them were really bad with their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I've heard of. I haven't heard of them, you know what I mean, shaking a cup at the local grocery store and shit. I ain't heard that yet. What up, Ed? So, Ed Washoe said LaFace Records screwed them. Talking about Outkast or everybody else?
I think you talking about TLC.
Yeah, they screwed them. But I got a problem with nobody getting smarter. Is it just me? But I don't see anybody getting smarter while they getting shitted on. Where's the part where they wake up and say, all right, you got me, you know what I mean? Screw me once, shame on you. Screw me twice, shame on me. Where's that part? Where's that part? Yeah, none of these labels are into, losing a bunch of money and going out like that. So, it's a slippery slope. But I mean, everybody has a chance to get a lawyer. Everybody has a chance to get a lawyer. So there has to be some kind of accountability to go around. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm sorry, man. I've always thought like the bosses do. Like, if I was paying, how much would I pay? Some I might have to pay more. Some I might get a little discount. God forbid I give the one who ain't making me no money a bunch of money, and the one that's making me a bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? Mistakes can be made. Papucio says when Braxton Family Values just the front for Walmart, great value. Yeah. Oh man. Damn, Ed says you want the 411 for Tony, I can call in. Well, call in. Don't hesitate. You see the number 267-874-1949. I would love to hear this with Tony. Phony Braxton. Phony Tony. 7 more days.
You don't have to fuck with my money. Just think your man about it.
Man.
That's on 7 Long Days really is one of the dumbest songs ever. I still can't understand it. Because you really have to sit back and hear it. 7 long days, not a word from you. 7 long nights, and I'm just about through. Can't take it no more. I had about it. It took you 7 days to realize that shit. He hit already. He not worried about you no more, Tony. He's not. It's over. You could have been after the first night. You could have just went on to life. You sat near the phone, and then when you talked to him, you should have said, "Just me and me."
Hold on, my man Ed from Detroit is calling in. All right.
You have a call from
Ed from Detroit.
Break it down, Ed. What's good?
Hey, I've been a Tony fan for a while, and then I read the book, but on the 2 bankruptcies. The first one, now her side of the story in the book was she won a bunch of money when it got to a lawsuit, and the Babyface testified, but she was under the impression that LaFace Records was going to pay for a lot of this concert she did back in '96 with her second record, Secrets, and she went on a tour with Kenny G. And anyway, the bills and all this stuff all piled up. and she didn't have the money to pay for it because she was under the impression of LaFace Records was flipping the bill. So when they agreed to it, was cheaper, and that's why she had to go on Oprah Winfrey and everywhere else. I mean, she used the excuse that she overspent and she just lived a lavish lifestyle and reached through all the money, which is far from the truth because she couldn't discuss it for, I think it was 10 years or 12 years or something. Bankruptcy. Now, this is according to her, with her book, was she was in Las Vegas, it was around 2005 or 6. They gave it to Flamingo, and she got diagnosed with that lupus disease, the heart disease, and she just signed some renewing her contract with Flamingo, and she had to cancel all these shows. Well, she had some insurance rider, and it was through that it pre-existing condition deal, so they denied the claim. So she was on the hook for shit tons of money for canceling that case in Vegas, an insurance company. According to her in her book, well, that's I'm gonna be cautious with this, and that's why she had to, in her own words in her book, she had to file that second bankruptcy, which happened. But I love her first 3 CDs when she had that raspy voice in her ballad songs, but then the rest of it was just a bunch of garbage R&B. It's her other stuff came out in the 2000s and later on. It's like, just stick with what you're good at.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Son.
Yeah.
Son.
Yes,
You walked away from the chair?
yes, I did. But I'm back now. But yeah, so what's up?
And then, I was talking about Tony, then I was going to thank you for some advice I took of yours. You'll probably want to hear it. But on Tony, did you hear me about the 2 bankruptcies, or you have to go over it again?
Yeah. I heard about the 2 bankruptcies.
Okay.
That's what. Yeah. Tony had Tony had a little spending problem.
True.
Tony
Yeah,
had.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I want to agree with the one person in the chat who made the comment about that stupid show. It really kind of turned me off too. That whole show was nothing more than a freaking money grab. It was just all phony, all fake, fake drama, and it just a bunch of nothings. All her family, I'll just call it like it is. Her sisters and her mom, they're all just milking off the Braxton name. It's just like her mom all of a sudden became a life coach. That's like a wannabe social worker or psychologist.
I know, right?
Like, you don't want to put the kind of money in.
Pretty much, it's almost similar to trying to be the black version of the Kardashians with the mother and and everybody. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, sir.
Well, they the Braxtons pretty much worked to bring to put what's her name? Tamar. To put Tamar's career on the map. That's what the Braxtons did, because it blew her up. She was the one who prevailed off of that show. Because
she went on that show, The Real
came out. I remember when she first came out, like in the late 90s. She came out before she really popped. Mm-hmm. Years later, she came out in the 90s. She had maybe 1 or 2 hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she had her first album. It was actually pretty good. Jermaine Dupri produced a few tracks on that one, but it went nowhere. And then and then that show came out, and then she came out with the second album, and then she married the billionaire boy. It was a wrap. You know what I mean? She was good to go then. Varshay, thank you so much. 1999 super chat. I'm a party like it's 1999 with that, without a doubt. Thank you. So when she said, damn, what the fuck? Son disappeared. I was really still sitting here. It was a magic trick. You know what I mean? It was getting my Houdini on.
Yeah, I mean, and then Tony went on to keep money in her pocket by dealing with it by getting with Baby from Cash Money.
I mean, well, you know,
that was one hell of a fucked up looking relationship.
If you want to get into, you know, Tony Braxton's trysts in the industry, you know, we'll be here for a while. You know what I'm saying? But but you know, she was more known for these badass contracts and, you know what I mean, for being the brokest chick that ever sold records. You know, but I mean,
this is what happened when you chase waterfalls. You should just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to.
Probably. You know what? I'm just going to have to agree with that. You know, as bad as I want to say no, I'm going to have to say yes.
Hey, the song fits the scenario.
hey, all day.
This is the first time I said some shit. You ain't say, yo, Troy, stop that shit, man.
Papucio said, son had to take a water break. I will not confirm nor deny those allegations.
Normally when son do the show, he catheterizes himself, so I don't think they would.
Look, all I can say is I feel a lot better. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking on sunshine. But, okay. So LaFace Records as a label were well known for being a popular label and for starving their artists a little bit. However, they were also known as being a very complete label who did a lot to promote their artists, develop their artists, and they had a very good roster. You know, if you was on LaFace Records.
I don't even know. Go ahead and talk at it.
No, that was me. I said if you were on LaFace Records, more than likely you were selling a good amount of units. You was moving some units.
Yeah, but you also know one thing about it, right? I still don't understand. Was Ellie Reed a producer? Because he damn sure didn't write them songs. The Babyface wrote everything, damn man. You know, so he must have just been a producer. That shit could have just been called Face.
But look, it was LaFace Records. So whether he produced, played, wrote or whatever, he put up that, you know, he was a partner on that label and he was getting all the money.
Well, you know, keep this in mind too. One thing I think about, she never complained about that I know of the money issues early in her career. Whitney Houston was through LaFace Records, but she had Clyde Davis, you know, and Clyde Davis, from my understanding, wasn't someone who was trying to scound the artist, you know, and get every, you know, penny and be greedy out of it. Maybe I'm mistaken, but, you know, that's the difference. I saw, you know, it was still Arista Records, but she was under, you know, so.
Yeah. I've heard that that Clyde was very, very shrewd, extremely shrewd. But just like all the, you know, he was like a mentor in the industry, and he knew how to choose people who would build labels, and he was a conglomerate. You know what I mean? He sort of like owned everybody who owned a label, like sort of like Warner, what is it, Warner Music Group or something?
Mm-hmm. No, you talking about what record label he was from? No,
sort of like Warner Music Group. You have a bunch of small labels under the umbrella of one label. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's how Warner was. That's how Universal was. You know, when they started swallowing up, you know, smaller labels or whatever, and acting pretty much like a distribution company. But you know, let's go to the next company. Now, this company, I've never heard any stories about them paying anybody anything. And that would be Sugar Hill Records with Sylvia Robinson. Now, all of the groups that she had on that label, and none of them made no money. And I mean none. And you could pretty much say that hip hop would have never been the same had it not been for Sugar Hill Records. Because, you know, that's where the Sugar Hill Gang came from, Treacherous 3, Funky 4+1, Cold Crush Brothers, Crash, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious. Damn, what was taking me so long to get to them, right? Crash Crew, like so many hip hop groups came from that label. And not only did she give you shit for publishing, you got you didn't get, you know, those rappers wrote their own rhymes. She found a way to get around that too. She did Grandmaster Flash so dirty because she wouldn't allow, if you notice, you never heard any scratching on any of those records. I used to be wondering, what does Flash do? Before I knew what scratching was, cutting and scratching was. Because they was like, Flash 2 times. I'm like, you never heard no scratching. The reason that you never heard no scratching on them records because he didn't want him to be able to get a writer's credit for the scratching. And the group was literally called Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. So she used her house band to do all of the music. That's why, you know, you had strong bass solos and a lot of Sugar Hill Records groups songs and stuff like that. So you got a DJ that's supposed to be the focal part of this group because it's called Grandmaster Flash, yet you don't let him do any DJing. You didn't find out what Flash could do unless you went to go see them in concert. Yeah, and she didn't pay them shit. Like you ain't make no money if you was on Sugar Hill Records. She'll give y'all some money to, you know, get something to eat, maybe get some haircuts and a new outfit, or get y'all be able to take your outfits to the cleaners. But your show money was the only money you was going to get. And there's no telling how many records were sold on that label.
Well, shit, it must have been a lot because they had that generational wealth. Her grandson, her great grandson, her kids, they're all millionaires. You know, so it must have been all that generational wealth.
Well, Sylvia Robinson and Puffy were a lot alike. They came from knowing about the industry. Sylvia Robinson was an artist at one time. You know, she made a couple of dollars off of that, and she decided that she was going to sign her own artist, and that's what she did. Built a studio and all of that where they could go and record and all, and it worked out. But just like Jason in the chat said, Sylvia's view was that the artist payment was that they got to be famous. They were supposed to do shows to get their own money. In her mind, the artist benefited from the records via fame. Meanwhile, when you went over in Jersey to Sylvia Robinson's house, you saw Rolls Royce parked outside. She living in this big ass mansion and shit. You know what I mean? She's showing the money, but you ain't getting shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess these were the breaks.
But you gotta think, hip hop was young. You know, she probably kicked it to them like she was taking this big chance on them. Cause we don't know if anybody's gonna like this stuff we're doing or play this on the radio or whatever, but she had a plan. and she made millions and millions off of them. You know, I saw a documentary on the Treacherous 3, and LA Sunshine and Special K was sort of talking about how Kumo D kind of sold them out. And yeah. But yeah, it's just it's a sad state of affair. That Sugar Hill Records, that shit is terrible.
She's the worst, bro.
Yeah, she was bad.
Mm-hmm.
She was bad. But yeah, that's how the game goes.
Well, I'm gonna give you a company. I got a company.
Okay.
Philadelphia International, Gambling House.
Okay. What about it?
They did them dirty. They did the it's still singers and songwriters that's still out there trying to get publishing and get royalties from their albums. Still. Shit, I remember Major Harris. Major Harris was one of them. Because Major Harris, before we heard our first filthy, nasty, disgusting songs from Major Harris.
Filthy,
first
nasty,
time we heard
disgusting.
On the song was Major Harris. Love Won't Let Me Wait. So but he was a songwriter first. He was a songwriter first. McFadden and Whitehead, they were songwriters first.
Yeah.
So majority of the people that they signed were songwriters first. And it's still people trying to get royalties from them. To the point where, people back in the day, they interviewed Kenny Gamble, and he had to try to defend himself, like, I don't owe anybody money. People are getting paid. Just people. And people was like, no, we ain't getting paid shit. Yeah, but the boy Tom Bell, I don't know if he was from Philly International. I think he was a songwriter. The one that wrote some of the best songs for Philly International. What's her name? Tom Bell and what's her name? I forgot the other lady's name. They had something that wrote The Greatest Love of All. She passed away from cancer. I forgot her name. I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, a lot of them, they didn't get paid a lot. And Tom Bell was one of the best songwriters ever. He was on that fucking Smokey Robinson type song. Shit, he wrote what? I'll Be Around. He wrote a lot of shit. He wrote Bet You By Golly Wow. He wrote a lot of shit, man. But a lot of them people didn't get paid for their publishing or their songwriting. So I mean, that shit is deep. That shit is deep.
Yeah. Well,
what you think?
Well, you know what? Philly International took a page out of Barry Gordy's book, because Motown didn't pay no fucking body.
No, and shit. What's her name? Mary Wells went to her grave fighting to get royalty money and everything.
But how is she gonna get money? She didn't write no songs. Didn't produce no songs. They had the house band. They had, what was it? Holland Doja Holland. That was their original Motown sound, and I'm sure he paid them. But as far as the artists were concerned, he totally controlled how they acted, how they dressed, how they presented themselves, because he wanted to make sure that they weren't looked at as dirty hooligan type of black artists or whatever. So they couldn't get in trouble on tour or whatever. He had control over a lot.
Yeah.
He was very, very image conscious. Very image conscious. But inside of all of that, the only people he seemed to have paid back in that era was Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross. Everybody else, go get on welfare. You better go get a check. But make sure you in the studio on Monday.
Well, her name is Linda Creed. You heard her name before, right, sir?
I'm not sure. It doesn't really ring a bell.
Yeah, she was down with Gamble and Huff. She was from Philly.
Okay.
Her writing partner was Tom Bell. She wrote The Greatest Love of All. She wrote Stop, Look, Listen by the Stylistic. She wrote Bet You by Golly Wow, Break Up to Make Up, People Make the World Go Around. You know, I mean, she wrote a lot of fucking songs, man. Rubber Band Man and all that shit for the Spinners.
It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. You know, I'll Be Around.
Did it.
Could it be on Falling in Love, Mighty Love, One of a Kind. Shit, man.
Damn, she wrote everything.
Yeah, she co-wrote a lot of that song with Tom Bell.
God damn.
And they didn't get the money, the royalties and the money. Gamble and Huff is somewhat like Bad Boy. Because if you think about it, everybody thinks Diddy do everything, but he had the Hit Squad. What was it, the Hit Squad or something like that?
Something like that. The Hit Squad was the Hit Squad was EPMD and them, but
yeah, it was something. It was called.
It was something with the word "hit" in it, though.
Yeah, you know, with what's his name? What's the full name? Him and Jocelyn Hernandez, Stevie J.
Stevie J. The boy Chucky Thompson. No, I mean Chucky.
He had a whole team. You know, so he had a whole team of producers and a whole team of songwriters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so at the end of the day, he was the Clive Davis of the group. He was the one that ran the company. Occasionally did a little producing, but his name wasn't on the songs.
Mm.
You know, they might have wrote the whole song, and he came in there and rearranged one part and said, "Oh, that's my song now."
That part.
They said ding, ding, ding. He said ding. I put that ding on it. That ding made it.
That ding is mine. The ding is mine. I said the doggone ding is mine.
I'm serious. So yeah, Gamble and Huff throughout the years has been prolific in not paying people their money. You know.
Okay.
You know.
Another group that was known for not making no money or getting bad contracts or whatever. Tribe Called Quest.
Mm.
They were very vocal about getting shitted on. They was vocal about it. They tell you, they broke it all the way down. Like, we don't make no money.
They wilding it else again, though.
Man. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Tribe was always talking about how they didn't make no money.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to tour. They had to stay busy on tour in order to eat, because they wasn't making no money as far as their record contract was concerned. And you know, that had to be hard when you would watch, because there was a big difference between those East Coast rappers struggling, but you see those West Coast rappers, they seemed like they was getting all the money. They living in big ass houses and shit. They driving whatever, you know what I mean? I don't. The West Coast rappers, they didn't look like they had no bad contracts.
Mm-hmm. Well, NWA did.
Eazy-E didn't. Yeah.
He was a Republican.
Well, funny thing is, the other members of, all right, if you break down NWA, we know Eazy owned the label, so we know he got paid. And we also know that Eazy didn't write none of his rhymes and he didn't want to be a rapper. But since y'all want to push me to be a rapper, all right, fine. You know what I mean? I was happy happy being in the background, but y'all want me to be not only a rapper, but y'all want me to be the top rapper. All right, cool. Now, yeah, Ice Cube wasn't satisfied with what he was getting for having to write his own rhymes and write Eazy-E's rhymes. But Eazy-E seemed to have taken care of Ren on some kind of level, MC Ren on some kind of level. And he did go solo. He sold a few records or whatever. And I don't know. I always thought that Ren was as good of an MC as Cube was, but I think Cube had just a little bit more style flavor. You know what I mean? But as far as just straight lyrics, I always thought Ren could get with him. But
Ren had a distinctive voice too.
You know, the way he used to do that double style. You know what I mean? He wasn't corny. You know what I mean?
No, he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just didn't have bars like Ice Cube. You know what I mean? Ice Cube wrote for Eazy and wrote for fucking Dre.
That's true. That's true.
Not to get back off the subject, but I had Google what songs McFadden and Whitehead wrote. Listen to this shit. They wrote Backstabbers for the OJs.
Mm-hmm.
They wrote Bad Luck and Wake Up Everybody for Al Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Mm.
They wrote I Always Love My Mama.
Mm.
That's some shit, man. That's some shit.
Yeah, they definitely wrote some heat. They definitely wrote some heat.
Nobody ever wrote a fucking song as I always love my father. He fucked my mother.
Wow. You're about to go down in history.
If he didn't do it, I wouldn't be in this world.
You're about to go down in history the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean,
You're about to back down into history.
You know what I mean? Shit, man. You know, I mean, ain't nobody ever write a good Father's Day song. You know what I mean? We always the fucked up ones.
Not true. Webby wrote a real good father song, and so did Nori on his second album.
Did he play it on Father's Day?
You want to get picky. You want a Father's Day song.
Only good Father's Day I remember hearing was Will Smith doing Just the Two of Us. Talking about him and his son.
I'll pass.
His son Trey.
I'll pass. I'm good.
What you say? You passed.
I'll pass. I'm good.
That shit. It was played.
You had me at they never have no good Father's Day songs. I can't. Ain't no whole lot of disputing that. You know what I'm saying? We got to eat that.
Yeah, we do. Shit. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I honestly, me personally, I ain't trying. Like I said, I ain't gonna get over no subject, but just imagine your daughters got to grow up and look on the internet, and when they go to college, they're gonna be like, "That's why Will Smith smacked the shit out your dad."
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad business right there.
Chris Rock got
sad state of affairs, man. Sad state of affairs.
I don't think I could have let that slide. I don't care if we had the first black producer producing Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. We just got to take that one on the chin. Will Packer.
Yeah.
Don't praise me. Praise me after I knock this motherfucker out. But which one you said? What was the one you just said?
Wait. Jason says Rolling Stone wasn't a Father's Day song. I'm so confused.
didn't know Father's. That was one of the most disrespectful Father's Day songs.
He said, wait, Papa was a Rolling Stone, wasn't a Father's Day song? I'm so confused.
Did you hear it? Who did that?
Jason.
Oh, you okay, Jason? I know you know better.
Woo!
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
September 3rd, baby. That's when my daddy died.
That's the day my daddy died. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he leave his house is his home. That's a hell of a fucking Father's Day song.
It really was.
All his life was alone.
All right. Well, look, we gonna get him out of here. Let me tell y'all something.
It's 3 o'clock already?
Yeah.
God damn, we having that much fun, son.
It's 3 on the dot. You know what I mean? When information start coming through, it be the way it be.
It is what it is.
All right, y'all. I got something I gotta do tomorrow morning. So we will not be on at 1:30 tomorrow. We will be on at sometime tomorrow, but it won't be at 1:30. So I'll let y'all know. I'll keep y'all posted. And we'll link back up sometime tomorrow afternoon.
Son has to go see a man about a dog.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But we be back at it. We'll be back at it. So let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious October 17th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number 1 out the box. Lady Pamela Payton, happy birthday. And my man Willie Owens, Keisha Roberts, Karen Richburg, Anita Evans, David Austin IV, Tammy Dickerson, Yannick Campbell King, Ronika Lawton, and last but not least, my man Michael Ravel. Mike Ravel, I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious October 17th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, the record industry people are shady. Listen, man, seriously, on the business side of things, you got to take care of you got to take care of yourself. You would think that in this information age, especially now, that nobody would ever see a bad contract or sign one. But, just like there was a sucker born every minute before this, there are even more babies being born now. I would say that if you're going to pursue anything dealing with the entertainment industry, whether it's yourself or whether you're helping somebody out, legal representation will take you a long, long way. You do not want to fly without a net in the record industry. That's what you don't want to do. So keep your head on a swivel. Be careful, baby.
Elaborate on that too, son. The most important thing is you cannot complain if you go in with your eyes shut. When you sit up there and you read a contract, and that's not even just a contract in the record industry, that's a contract, period.
Mm-hmm.
You sit back and you just go in here with your eyes shut, and then all of a sudden, You sign the contract. They're signing a contract for something that's important, like a record deal or football or sports, or even selling. I mean, even when you sign your paperwork to get a new job. When you go in there and you say, I'm wanting to set $19, $20, $21 an hour, and you outdo your contract, you can't get mad because they're not going to give you no more money. That's what you accepted.
Yeah.
You accepted that when you made that decision, that's the decision you accepted. When you go into business, like a contract with somebody to be a business partner, you accepted that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get a lawyer or nothing. Like Son said, you have to be a lawyer. You have to get a lawyer to make sure you don't get fucked. But if you don't get one and you get fucked, always remember that's your fault. Back to you, and I yield to the great Son 752 of Philadelphia.
All right. Before we go, I guess, well, let's take a look at the poll. Let's see. 23 votes. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, man. People ain't come out to play tonight. 23 votes on the music show Friday. All right, here we go. All right. Are record companies wrong for giving out bad contracts? 26% said the companies are predatory and wrong. 35% says the artist should get lawyers. 39% says artists should learn the business. And 0% says it's the nature of the game. All right. Well, I understand. I get it. We will be back with the Urban Therapy with Son show tomorrow, but I'll have to specify the time later. But we will be here. We will have a show tomorrow. I can guarantee you that, though. I can daring guarantee you that. Yo, hit the like button. Make sure y'all give me a like before y'all get on up out of here.
Hey, son, I got to tell you this real quick. I know you got to go. Your boy Donald Trump just commuted the boy George Santos' prison sentence. So you must like the LGBTQ community because that motherfucker's a cross-dresser. You can't make this shit up, bro.
Man, this whole government seems made up.
Where the fuck are we living at?
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell me this shit is real.
You just can't be, bro.
Can't be.
He just can't be. He just commuted the boy George Santos, former U.S. Rep George Santos. He just commuted this. He's to be immediately released. He had a 7-year. It was the sentence of 7 years.
All righty. With that being said,
love you, bro. Love you, bro. Love the live stream. Be blessed. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man.
All right, take care, man.
All right, fam.
All right. All right, y'all. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. Love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow at an unspecified time right now to be determined, but we will be here and we will be talking about something and it will be hot. Appreciate all y'all for coming through and representing. You know what I mean? Appreciate it. Mucho. James Florin, better late than never. I appreciate you, my dude. I'll get with y'all later. Hit that like button, though. Peace.